tayari kuilinda. Na tujenge taifa letu. Ndio wajibu wetu. Kenya istahili heshima. Tuungane mikono pamoja kazini. Kila siku tuwe na shukrani.
Across the continent, meeting with different leaders of the continent. And I just want to say that I've been very pleased and impressed with the optimism that these leaders are expressing regarding the African Union. African Union is a vehicle that was founded by the founding fathers of our nation. And the intention was to try to unite Africa. You remember Kwame Nkrumah said that Africa must unite. Unite or we perish. And over the years, there have been challenges that have been faced by leadership of the continent. But I want to say that we're happy to see that today the African Union has come of age from the ashes of the Organization of African Unity. But the African Union needs to be strengthened for it to be able to enable African countries to realize the dream of the founding fathers of our continent. A united, peaceful, and prosperous Africa, where the citizens themselves feel that they are free as a people and united and can work productively in the continent. There are several areas where Africa is having a problem. Issues of health care, issues of education, issues of wealth creation, employment in the continent is a major issue. As you know that many young African boys drown in the Mediterranean as they try to run away from the poverty and other challenges in the continent, seeking greener pastures in Europe. This does not have to happen. If we create conducive and enabling environment for these people to be more gainfully employed on the continent of Africa. The issue of climate change is a major challenge. Africa is a victim rather than the main offender. But Africa at the moment pays a very heavy price. As you can see here in our own country, we live between twin disasters, floods and drought. Many of our people perish, livestock die in those periods. How do we arrest this phenomenon? How can we make a contribution? And how can we also negotiate more effectively for compensation from the offenders who have continued to discharge the carbon monoxide in the atmosphere? We need a stronger voice. As individual countries, Africa is weak. But as one united Africa, we can have a much stronger voice to be able to negotiate more effectively for compensation. Energy is another major issue here. And most African countries suffer from energy deficiency. Yes, Africa itself has got an abundance of resources for renewable energy. We have a lot of solar energy potential on the continent. We have geothermal, we have wind, we have waves, we have hydro in large quantities, which we all need to harness to make Africa energy self-sufficient. So many things which we will intend to deal with when we go up there. So I am a candidate, as I mentioned, and I'm happy that the Kenya government has come forward to make me a formal candidate. As you have already told, we have already submitted our application as required by the AU, the Secretariat. And from now on, it is all systems go. So we will be addressing other issues as we move forward. But I want to thank the leadership of the continent who have expressed confidence, and also the people of our country, Kenya. I will need your support in this campaign. I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellencies, for your statement. And as we say, the train has left the station, the journey has begun. So, members of the press, I'm coming to you. I just wanted to recognize the statements that have been made. And now you'll have an opportunity to ask a few questions. You're just going to have 2-3 questions, and please identify yourself and your media organization. We take it from there. Thank you. So, with your permission, Excellencies, we have a few questions.
Yes,
but not
before,
too many.
But before you do that, let me acknowledge that I have here the PS Foreign Affairs, Dr. Korir Singoi. I have the PS Raymond Omolo from the Interior. And then I have PS Aurelia Rono, responsible for parliamentary affairs. And then I have the Chief of Staff, Joe Busiega, and my good team of advisors and officials in the ministry. I think I'll give Mheshimiwa Raila an opportunity to...
Yes, thank you. Here is also my team. You can see Caroline Karugu, the former Deputy Governor in Nyeri County, and you have Pauline Joroge, and then you have got Ambassador Elkanah Odembo, you have Ambassador Mahbub, and Mr. Okara. This is a part of my team for this AU campaign.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Excellency, and congratulations on your candidature, Honorable Odinga. My name is Ibrahim Karanja from NTV. I have one question, and the question is...
First, in a bit to address your question, we must understand what really constitutes the price of fuel at the pump station. It's a combination of factors. Key is the landing cost, over which I'm sure you know we have got very little control, because it depends upon so many other factors out there. 2 is the taxation regime, which is something that is within the domain of Parliament, as you know. But finally is the issue of transport and storage costs. And that's something we are actually working on actively with the management and the board of Kenya Pipeline Company. What you see us doing here is essentially to try and address areas where we can improve our efficiencies. Because once we do so, it will have a very direct impact on the pump price of our fuel products, oil products. Okay? I've also alluded to the fact that we want to focus.
The DIT, KPS, BCI, and my colleagues that we are together here to issue a press statement. Currently, we are at the Kikiri police station within Nairobi. Today, August 20th, 2024, morning hours, there was an incident of prisoners' escape that happened at Kikiri police station where we are as at now. 13 prisoners escaped from the cells, among them 12 Eritrean nationals who were arrested for being illegally in Kenya, and one male murder suspect, namely Collins Chumaisi Kalusha, who is connected with the Kware murder incident. Our preliminary investigation indicated that the escape was aided by insiders, considering that officers were deployed accordingly to guard the station. Consequently, I have interdicted 8 officers who were on duty last night, among them the Kikiri Sub-County Police Commander, OCS, Kikiri Police Station, Duty Officer, Duty NCO, Station Cards and Report Office personnel. The matter is currently under investigation by Internal Affairs Unit, and any person found culpable will face full force of law. We have launched manhunt to rearrest the escapees. We further appeal to the members of public with
across the continent, meeting with different leaders of the continent. And I just want to say that I've been very pleased and impressed with the optimism that these leaders are expressing regarding the African Union. African Union is the vehicle that was founded by the founding fathers of our nation. And the intention was to try to unite Africa. You remember Kwame Nkrumah said that Africa must unite. Unite or we perish. And over the years, there have been challenges that have been faced by leadership of the continent. But I want to say that we're happy to see that today the African Union has come of age from the ashes of the Organization of African Unity. But the African Union needs to be strengthened for it to be able to enable African countries to realize the dream of the founding fathers of our continent. A united, peaceful, and prosperous Africa, where the citizens themselves feel that they are free as a people and united and can work productively in the continent. There are several areas where Africa is having a problem. Issues of health care, issues of education, issues of wealth creation, employment in the continent. It's a major issue. As you know that many young African boys drown in the Mediterranean as they try to run away from the poverty and other challenges in the continent, seeking greener pastures in Europe. This does not have to happen. If we create conducive and enabling environment for these people to be more gainfully employed on the continent of Africa. The issue of climate change is a major challenge. Africa is a victim rather than the main offender. But Africa, at the moment, pays a very heavy price. As you can see here in our own country, we live between twin disasters, floods and drought. Many of our people perish, livestock die in those periods. How do we arrest this phenomenon? How can we make a contribution? And how can we also negotiate more effectively for compensation from the offenders who have continued to discharge the carbon monoxide in the atmosphere? We need a stronger voice as individual countries, Africa is weak. But as one united Africa, we can have a much stronger voice to be able to negotiate more effectively for compensation. Energy is another major issue here. And most African countries suffer from energy deficiency. Yes, Africa itself has got an abundance of resources for renewable energy. We have a lot of solar energy potential on the continent. We have geothermal, we have wind, we have waves, we have hydro in large quantities, which we all need to harness to make Africa energy self-sufficient. So there's many things which we will intend to deal with when we go up there. So I am a candidate, as I mentioned, and I'm happy that the Kenya government has come forward to make me a formal candidate. As you have already told, we have already submitted our application as required by the AU, the Secretariat. And from now on, it is all systems go. So we will be addressing other issues as we move forward. But I want to thank the leadership of the continent who have expressed confidence, and also the people of our country, Kenya. I will need your support in this campaign. I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellencies, for your statements. And as we say, the train has left the station, the journey has begun. So, members of the press, I'm coming to you. I just wanted to recognize the statements that have been made. And now you'll have an opportunity to ask a few questions. You're just going to have 2-3 questions, and please identify yourself and your media organization. We take it from there. Thank you. So, with your permission, Excellencies, we'll have a few questions.
Yes,
but not
before,
too many.
Not before you do that, let me acknowledge that I have here the PS Foreign Affairs, Dr. Kawira Mwangaza. I have the PS Raymond Omolo from the Interior, and then I have PS Aurelia Rono, responsible for parliamentary affairs. And then I have the Chief of Staff, Joe Busiega, and my good team of advisors and officials in the ministry. I think I'll give Mheshimiwa Raila an opportunity to...
Yes, thank you. Here is also my team. You can see Caroline Karugu, the former Deputy Governor in Nyeri County, and you have Pauline Joroge, and then you have got Ambassador Elkanah Odembo, you have Ambassador Mahbub, and Mr. Okara. This is a part of my team for this AU campaign.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Excellency, and congratulations on your candidature, Honorable Odinga. My name is Ibrahim Karanja from NTV. I have one question, and the question is, while Musalia Mudavadi, were there other candidates in Kenya who met the criteria of being considered for the Africa Union chairmanship? And if so, why was the public not made aware of them? Thank you.
First of all, let me just state that the government of Kenya reserves the right and has the right as to whom they can nominate as a candidate. And we want to be very candid here.
Across the
and then you come back to terrible things that happened and perhaps still happening concerning the Gen Zs, the deaths, the missing people, the people are being found at the mortuaries, there's a problem in this country. And I think one would be forgiven to think that when you put things in a jar, then you shake it like this. So the beans is everywhere, everything is everywhere. And when I say that, that is actually a polite term I'm using to say that there's a problem in this country. And somebody who comes from the ODM party that is currently at the center of the governance, our people who were given some positions, I think it would be unfair or dishonest for me not to acknowledge that there's a problem in Kenya today, governance problem. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when the president took over, and I thank Baba for always giving up, at least he made sure that people didn't die. Then Ruto took power. In my opinion, I feel that, I don't know whether he was overexcited or he was not really prepared to rule, to lead. Let me not say to rule, because rule is ruling. Let me say to lead. There's a difference between leading. Yes, there's a difference between leading the masses and ruling the masses.
And
ruling the masses would be when you don't want people to go to the streets and exercise at Code 37. That is ruling people. But leading people is when you listen to what the masses are saying and you become cognizant of the issues that are creating things like maandamano, So, like I said, I'm speaking kama mtu wa ODM, but I'm also speaking as somebody who is very much alive to the fact that the masses, including a very big chunk of Raila Odinga supporters, are not happy. They feel disenfranchised. And the reason why they're not happy, I was speaking with a friend, and we decided to compare the Uhuru handshake with Baba, and then we also decided now to compare it to this one with Ruto. And I think the reason why the one that happened in 2017, even though 2018 March, even though people were very emotive, people had died, people were not happy with the government, but somehow, including myself, but somehow we managed to say, let's give it a chance. Because Baba said, but what alternative do we have? Let's do what? Let's give it a chance. And the reason why giving it a chance is something most of us don't regret today is because when Baba and Uhuru shook hands, so many things changed for good. I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah. So like what are the things that you feel changed for good, especially when
I feel that when Baba and Uhuru shook hands in March 2018, they had leadership chemistry. There was that sigh of relief. There were bad things that were going on in government that stopped. Things that, like the outright looting. Don't forget the 2 billion a day that even President Uhuru said, anyway, we are losing 2 billion shillings per day to corruption. When the handshake happened, that changed. When Baba and Uhuru shook hand, we saw some order in government. We saw a government that was previously very reckless, with even borrowing, very reckless, with so many things. Then we saw Uhuru that was even his body language changed. The way he was addressing Kenyans, the way he was listening to the...
Sorry, we lost you. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming back.
Changed for the better. Then you remember when the handshake happened, the country was, the economy was bad. We had come from COVID, you remember? And the COVID, the cost of living went through the roof because of COVID also. Then Baba and Uhuru sat down and they said, let us bring in the subsidies, because kumekuwa na COVID, people have lost jobs, there is no money. Let us subsidize some essential commodities to which the president did. So I don't know whether it's early, but as Mariam, I'm struggling to see that with this regime. I'm struggling to see Ruto heed the plea of Kenyans the way Baba made Uhuru listen to Kenyans after the 2018 handshake. And the reason why I'm saying I'm struggling to see it, I could be wrong. Maybe perhaps I've not been keen. I've told you I've been sick for almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I've been sick, but I cannot say the same thing for Ruto. And for me, as a supporter of Raila Odinga and the ODM member, I am very worried that if things are not going to change for good, for positively, then this could taint the image of our party leader. Raila Odinga has a very good image. He has a legacy from here to I don't know where, a legacy to last a lifetime. But now I feel like he's trying to save the president, and I'm praying that him saving the president does not sink the legacy of our party leader, does not sink the way people view ODM. Remember, for a long time in this country, people view Raila Odinga as a sign of social justice and democracy. And Raila Odinga is held in a very high standard compared to all politicians. You put Raila Odinga can do something that Ruto has done. But the outrage that people will have against Baba will be way bigger than the outrage that people will have with Ruto. And that is because Kenyans associate Baba with democracy, social justice, good governance, pro-people governance. So I am very afraid that the president must really rethink things. And even our party leader, he must have a candid talk. He must have a candid talk with the president, for the president to do things the right way, so it does not taint the image of our party and taint his very rich legacy.
Okay, thank you. And I will come to the image of the party and even Baba donating his professional, the way he said, to the current government. But I want to bring you to a history that yesterday also I shared with one of our guests about always when there's a revolution coming, a political class have always hijacked and made it their own or benefit them. And I will start in 1997 when there was a revolution against Moi. The political class came together and formed what we call Inter-Party Parliamentary Group, the IPPG. And if you look keenly, the IPPG was formed to stop the revolution that the people of the country were looking for, especially like good leadership. Then, and because people were criticizing Moi, and Moi was threatened by that, and he felt Baba and the political class came together and talked about this, and that revolution did not materialize. That is one. Another one that also happened when we came to the Grand Coalition government in 2007-2008. It is beyond doubt that that election Baba won.
Yes, with a landslide.
With a landslide.
Yes.
But he did not but people went for negotiation. There was a Grand Coalition. And in that Grand Coalition, people died. But they still, good leadership, corruption, that one did not solve. Then come to 2018, whereby you spoke well on how the Prime Minister and Uhuru Kenyatta shook hands. And I can remind you, on that day, there was a levy, a road levy that was voted for by ODM and Jubilee. Remember during the Kenya? You remember very well.
I do.
This one was against, and
the 16%.
The 16%.
On fuel.
On fuel and the road levy. Remember, on fuel.
Yes. Yeah, it was on fuel.
It's on fuel. And then the Tanga that was headed by the current president, William Ruto, really protested about that. And that one either did not solve the cost of living for the one inch. Now again, when revolution was coming for the Gen Z, we saw the president and Baba coming together an extent whereby Baba donated the experts to the government. So when I give you all this chronology, sorry, I'm giving you a chronology of how the political class have always made the power of the people or sabotage the power of the people by making it their own. Yeah. And as you talked about, you're even worried about this, how then can you convince people that this one that we have, it's going to solve the problems that every Kenya has been yearning for? Yeah.
I think that goes back to me telling you, when we go back to the levy, that the Tanga guys were opposing after handshake, I hope you realize that they were just opposing the levy because Baba came to government.
True.
The same way Gachagua clique have also been opposing almost everything because Baba has joined. They're assuming Baba has joined the government. You understand?
Yep.
So the problem we have in this country is not even hijacking the revolution. If I can say without fear of contradiction, our problem is the political class.
Yes.
And that political class includes William Ruto. Because you see, you are saying that he opposed that levy in 2018 because it was not that thing. Opposing it was beneficial to him at that particular time. He wanted to resonate with Kenyans who are feeling the pinch of high cost of living. But today, he is even implementing even more rigid bills that are going to be even more burdensome on Kenyans. So in a nutshell, I can say that we do have a problem in Kenya, Benson.
Yeah.
We do have a problem in Kenya, and it has been a long time coming. Remember last time I told you that the only people whose Gen Z Mandamano got off guard were people who were oblivious to the reality, or people who were not in touch with the people of Kenya, the ordinary people of Kenya like me and you. Those were the only people that the Gen Z protest, at least for the first 14 days, they're the only people that got caught off guard. People like me and you knew this was coming, according to the way the country was being run. So again, I'm telling you, we have a problem. And this problem, it has been a long time coming. When Baba and Co managed to send Moi into retirement, we started so well. In fact, I think to date, the election that we had in 2002, the Kibaki Tosha election, that is the only election that was free and fair and verifiable. Because at that particular time, Moi decided to go home. So at that time, what Kibaki did wrong, him and his Mount Kenya friends, they did not create the opportunity for people like Baba, who championed the what is it called? The retirement of Moi from power.
Yeah.
To put in the structures, to wash in our structures. Remember things like corruption, Benson? These things just don't happen overnight. These are things that they build up. I hope you know that today in Kenya, we have bills that runs into billions that we are being told that by the Auditor General of the country, that we have ghost schools, we have ghost hospitals, we have ghost companies that government are paying thousands of people's salary every month. We have ghost schools that government is paying school capitation. Every year, the government is sending those money, yet these are things that don't exist. So this country is rotten to the core. And what our party is trying to do now is just perhaps to make sure that it doesn't go back down, because it's already down.
I agree with what you are saying, but I also, and our viewers also want to understand, because we are looking at government. Government has so many departments that are taking place, but if you look what ODM did, or what the NEC ODM decided, and they said that we are donating our experts. And our experts are going to assist this government because it is sinking from even what the economists are saying, And now the experts have been donated to this government. And the question that rises is one: how are the experts that are being donated to the government are going to assist to lower the cost of living that majority of Kenyans are facing? That is one. Secondly, how are the experts going to make them easier so that we can have accountability and transparency? How are the experts going to make it easy for even what we are having today, educational funding, especially for those who are joining university in September? Yeah. So how are they going to do that? There are only 4. And remember, some of the good governance, accountability, corruption, these are things that did not start with the President William Ruto administration. This is something that was inherited. It is something that has always been going on. So to our question, because you can tell us, because maybe you've worked with them, you've worked with Honorable Mbadi, you've worked with the Joho, you've worked with Oparanya. How are they going to make sure that these issues that Kenyans are raising are going to be solved and Kenya can realize that dream? That is what people are asking.
I know. My thing again goes back to me telling you. Remember, my opening statement was, Baba has a very rich legacy in this country, not just in this country, in Africa. Baba is a symbol of social justice, is a symbol of democracy, is a symbol of good governance. Most people like me and you view him as that. That one we agree with.
True.
So when our people are taken to the government, we are hoping and praying that somebody like our former party chair, Mheshimiwa Mbadi, is going to bring in the very much needed integrity and ethics in the treasury. Because as I already told you, the ghost projects are killing us. The amount of money we are using in ghost projects alone, the ghost workers, the drought in the judiciary, in our financial system. If Mheshimiwa Mbadi carries the social justice, the good governance, the ethics, the integrity that the ODM party preaches, and takes it with him to the judiciary, I'm praying and I'm remaining hopeful that change will be. When
go ahead.
When Mheshimiwa Mbadi was being interviewed, when he was being vetted by Parliament, I think it was his interview, his vetting, and Mheshimiwa Wandai's vetting that I watched very closely. And I was doing that purposefully, not because the others were not important, but because initially I felt that how dare the president give our top brains in ODM a rotten judiciary to run, a corrupt judiciary to run? Is it a trap? I was again asking myself, how is President Ruto poaching the best brains like Mheshimiwa Wandai and putting him in energy? We already know the drama and the corruption that is happening with the fuel from Dubai, from Middle East to Kenya, to Uganda, to Tanzania. We are already aware. So I watched Mheshimiwa Mbadi's interview or vetting, and if the things he said that he would put in place to curb the corruption in judiciary, to curb the ghost projects being funded by government, I think it can bring change if he will be able to implement them. The same thing applies to Mheshimiwa Wandai. The same thing applies to our party leader, our deputy party leader, both Hassan Joho and Mheshimiwa Oparanya. We are just remaining hopeful. What we have at this particular hour is hope.
Oh yeah, and that hope, is there for so many people, and that hope is being questioned because you know, me and you know that when, as we speak, we have Kenya Kwanza administration headed by His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto, and the president has the policies, you know. The president has the policies. They are the policies implementers, you know. And they are calling shots because there are so many arrangements that have made in this government even before the experts came in, you know. And you and me know that how it has always been said on how the president is a master of all. He knows everything. Even if you remember today, you saw he advised. He said that I advised the Attorney General to make sure that the like it was I cannot remember, but he advised. But you know, in contrary, Attorney General should advise the president. It should be the advisor to the president, should not advise.
That goes back to me telling you
that
as Mariam, ODM supporter, Raila Odinga supporter, my greatest fear is the disconnect that I see in Baba's body language and Ruto. You know, when Baba and Ruto and Uhuru became one, you could see the body language. They were in sync. You could see that both of them were coming from a genuine place. The president felt defeated. He knew he needed Baba for the country to move forward, and he was willing to listen. He was willing to listen. That is why when Baba said that bill, Kenyans are crying that bill that passed, the one you are saying Tangatanga will post. Baba told them, you have to now bring in the subsidy, because when fuel goes up, bread goes up. When bread goes up, everything literally goes up when fuel goes up. But with Ruto, I'm unable to put my hand in that. And that's why I keep telling you that as Mariam, I am praying for Kenya, because we do not have another Kenya. This is the one we have. But as of now, I'm still unable to see the connect, the chemistry, the governance chemistry between our party leader, which I believe 110% that means well for this country. But I cannot say.
Oh, sorry.
I cannot say the same for the president. And the reason why I'm saying I cannot say the same for the president, you know, when demonstration happens, these kids were not demonstrating in vacuum. And one thing that our people are also not aware, or I don't know whether they're ignoring it or they're not aware. You know, these demonstrations were not ours. The demonstrations that it was ODM or Azimio.
So what do you mean they were not ours?
When I said they were not ours, I'm saying, did you see me in the streets? And I'm always in the streets. Did you see me? You didn't see me. Because these kids said, and the first thing they said, I remember a video went viral of a very young girl saying, Baba, you have done enough. Please stay home. Let us take over where umefika. So bringing in our people, or rather poaching the best brains from our end and putting them in government without being cognizant, without being alive to the issues that these kids went to the street for, to me is a foolhardy project.
And I want to follow on what you've said about.
I think I should say that again.
Yeah, I want to follow on that. What you've said about the young girl.
I should say that again.
Indeed.
So it doesn't get misconstrued. Let me say that again.
Say it again, then I will follow.
I want to try and simplify it. What I'm saying is, the Gen Z's demonstrations were not our demonstrations. Baba did not call us to go to the streets.
True.
These kids saw another bill after the 2023 finance bill passed like a bad joke. And they said, Baba, kanyumbani. You have done your best. We appreciate you, but this one allow us to deal with the government the best way we know how, which was exercising the Article 37 of the Constitution. So, in my opinion, And I want this to be very clear to our viewers today, both from our party ODM and those who are in government, that the president must be alive to the fact that the demonstrations had nothing to do with us, the ODM and Azimio people. The demonstration happened because the youth of this country got tired of bad governance, dishonesty, ghost projects, and what have you. Even if you come and poach the best brains from our end, which has taken the best from our batch, it's taken Mheshimiwa Joe, it took Oparanya, it took Mbadi, it took Mheshimiwa Mwangaza, the best brains in ODM. Even if you take those best brains, but you don't change, you do not, you don't, I don't know the right time, you don't solve the issues that took Gen Zs to the streets, it will be a foolhardy, in my opinion.
Thank you. And I want to follow up with you, because the same questions that you are asking, these are what even if you look at our comment section, that is what everybody is asking. And what everybody is asking is this. You said about the young girl who said, Baba we kanyumbani.
Allow us to take over.
These are the children that they saw Baba. And
they grew up, they saw Baba struggling for this country alone.
And the Baba was like their motivator, that when they see Baba was like an emblem to them, that this emblem or this statue that I'm seeing here, this is what drives me. That power in him, that what makes me to go on the street and advocate for better governance, advocate for accountability, advocate for transparency, advocate for no corruption. But at what point did it change that the emblem and the legendary that they drive or they take their motivation from decided to support what they were fighting?
I think that is where me and you disagree. To date, I refuse to believe that Baba was supporting or rather was sabotaging the Gen Z's revolution. I refuse to believe that. You know, when you take our ODM members and the hardcore team for Baba, I think I'm one of the few people who tends to speak outside the line sometimes. Most people are very coy, like you saw Mheshimiwa Bongo yesterday. So when I tell you that I refuse to believe that Baba is trying to save Ruto, Baba is not trying to save Ruto, even up to now. You know, we are not a realistic country. The Gen Zs did a wonderful thing. As Mariam, forever indebted to them. But the Gen Zs themselves, you know, a revolution has to have an end. You know?
True.
And you cannot say, we want to remove a bed. This is our motivation. You remove a bed, then what? You remove a bed, then what? The Gen Z is still unable to answer that question to date. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying they did not have a decisive answer to that question. So what Baba saw, just allow me.
I'll follow up.
What Baba saw was a successful demonstration that was getting out of hand. When the kids were being killed, shot like dogs in the streets, when the demos looked like they had been infiltrated by third parties, and Baba himself is also a candidate for AU chairmanship. Let us also not forget that.
We know.
You cannot leave Kenya today when the country is in disarray and burning. And you go and sitting at Addis Ababa and say, my name is Raila Odinga. I come from Kenya. I'm a former prime minister and the chair of a very big political party. I want to chair the African Union that consists of 54 African countries. When where you come from is on fire, nobody will take you seriously. Because people will say, the idea of the African Union was built on things like they needed a voice, a platform where Africans would use it to solve African problems like the Congolese problem, like the Sudanese problem. Those are some of the core of African Union. being an arbitrator, you know, like an impartial arbitrator. You cannot go and sit on that big seat and back at home. The streets are burning. The kids are being shot like dogs in the streets. The president has probably taken a chopper and flew outside the country. Kenya is now having a military rule, something we have never tested. And everywhere we've seen military rule, it has never ended well. So Baba said, we have, you know what you people are forgetting, Benson?
Yeah.
I told you last time when I was here, the last time we spoke,
yeah,
I told you that the reason why for me, I'm not upset that Baba decided to swoop in and save the situation. And the reason why I was not upset was because, remember, we have a constitutional and democratic way that it is guaranteed to be peaceful, to remove a president that is not performing. And remember, we have barely 2 years. My advice to Gen Zs then and again now is, let us see. It is barely, I think it is barely a month or 6 weeks since our people joined government. Is it 5 or 6 weeks?
It's around that area.
So because this is a trial and I've already told you that the Uhuru Baba Pact was one of the best. Even if you ask Kenyans, they will tell you they saw changes. Some of the things that people were crying about changed. Yeah. But let us wait and see
how this one is going to go. Yeah, I'm listening.
If it doesn't pan out the way we want, to which, in my opinion, I can already tell it will not pan out that way. Because unlike Uhuru, who listened to Baba when Baba told him, these people don't want things like ABCD. And he told the line, he made sure that he had put things in place to make sure nobody was no longer looting 2 billion a day. That was being looted post before handshake happened.
Okay.
No. Yeah. But the president, you can already see, he's pushing for the financial bill to come back.
Yeah.
The first thing he did that pissed people off and continue to piss people off is renegading on things. He called a press conference in the lawns of the State House and said, "I've had you. You don't want the budget for the spousal offices. I'll tore that down. You don't want this bill. I've listened. I've understood. I will remove it." What is he doing? 6 weeks is doing the same thing. So give him time. If he does not change, wait for him on the ballot. Let Gen-Zs regroup. Meanwhile, go to the IBC, get IDs, get votes. If he does not toe the line, let us think, who is our candidate now that our Baba is going away? Do we tell Baba don't go away? Give him time. If he doesn't perform in 2 years' time, Baba can come back and buy.
Okay, true. Now, I just want to also...
Baba can come back, we tell him, Bwana, this guy did not deliver like Uhuru. Now you come and be on the ballot, leave that seat, now come back home.
Yeah, that is at his own disposal. He can come back. But now, there are some issues that you've raised that I want to follow up with you. One, the history has it that even when people were protesting, when prior, before even Gen Z protesting, Baba and the other, Baba has been protesting, they've always called for Uhuru must go, Ruto must go. So there was the Gen Z was asking that question, that during that time, why the what next question was not asked. That is one. Then another thing also, you talk about the African AU, to be very sincere, African AU, we've questioned it for some, especially when we come to the issues of Africa. Africa is one of the continents that is highly blessed with minerals and everywhere. Go to YouTube, go search what the president for Uganda said about when there was an issue with Libya. When the delegation of Africans were going to Libya, they were stopped. They were told that they have not,
But I also want to be in records that President Paul Kagame, not Paul Kagame, but Museveni, he betrayed Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. He is one of the people that should not talk about the unfortunate, unacceptable, unwarranted ouster of one of the best African leaders, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi.
So
he should not talk about Gaddafi ouster. It's a very sad thing. that the West did to Africa.
Yeah, so these are some of the things that we are asking ourselves. There are so many things that if we want to start to discuss about Africa, look at even Congo. Congo has been at war with itself for the longest time. Does it mean that the AU and all the organs of Africa are not there? You know, when you see these young children,
I like this conversation.
Yeah. So
this
what is it?
One of my best conversations.
I'm just thinking, you know, that if we say that we cannot, Baba could not go there, yet the country was burning, you know. What about Congo?
But Baba doesn't come from Congo. And charity begins from home. And home in this case is Kenya.
He's an African. You know.
He is.
You know, the one thing with the African that we forget, the boundaries that we are having as African, these were not boundaries that were created by us. These boundaries were given to us. We did not have these boundaries. These airspaces, the passport that we have, as an African, we did not have this, but we have made to do that. That as African, if I want to go to Uganda, I have to get a passport. But Uganda is just like a pass. Unaingia Busia, unaingia Uganda. Lakini lazima mtu anakuambia ukuwe na passport. Yeah. So I think for a moment, what we want to leave discussion of experts and come to Azimio and ODM. You know, one thing that we have to agree, and we have to agree at some point, we are talking from point of view and what the comments are going. Majority of young people, for sure, majority of young people feel that Baba really left them at the point of need. That is what the young people, even they cannot come out and say that, but inside them, if you have a conversation with them, they feel, because Baba was father to them and he taught them how to do this.
Yes,
and
he did.
And he said that we are at war with the enemy, and you took your best soldiers, you allowed them to go with the enemy that we were fighting, and you still want to stand with us. They feel now they're not buying it.
That one I will still again support Baba, stand with Baba. That is why I keep saying, and I've given you an answer to that.
Yeah.
When Baba agreed, even though I've seen severally Baba saying these people were probably approached independently, but even if they did, I know they had to talk also to our party leader.
Yes.
What Baba did goes back to me telling you that you have to be cognizant. I even told you last time. You have to be cognizant to Raila Odinga that does not want this country to go to the dogs. Even if you leave the African Union thing outside, Baba will always, that is why even in 2007, I like that you say that it was a landslide win for Baba.
That is true.
And even the president that is now giving us a hard time, he was on our side in 2007. And even he knows that Baba won with the landslide and Baba should have become the president. But when people were being killed, when you could not go beyond Kericho, when people were being burnt in their houses just because they're called Omondi or Atieno.
Yes.
That is why Baba said, okay, to hell with it. Why do I need the presidency if the people, if it's coming with all this blood of more than, 3,000 people? The people that were displaced, the people that were killed. So that Raila Odinga is always somewhere. And for you to understand Raila Odinga politics, you also have to be cognizant of that Raila Odinga. And that this goes back to me telling you, even now, that the Gen Z demonstrations lacked just one thing, and one thing only. You know, when you start a journey, you just don't say, I want to go to Kenya. Because Kenya is not a static place.
Yeah.
Kenya is Nairobi, there's Kisumu, there's Mombasa. You want to say, when I get to Kenya, I'm leaving America, I'm going to Kenya now.
Yeah.
When I get to Nairobi JKIA airport, I want to go to Kisumu County, or I want to go to Busia. The Gen Z did not have an exact destination for the demonstrations. And if you remember, the main reason why the Gen Zs took to the streets was the finance bill, was the disregard for the voice of the people that the government had developed, the arrogance, the cockiness, they do what you do, I'm going to do what I want. That is what took these kids to the streets. And when the president said that he was going to heed the voice of the people. He was going to remove the spousal thing. He was going to forget about the scrap away the 2024 finance bill. We also, even I felt that you have done a good job, but there is no hurry. Let us give this guy a chance. Let us see what he's going to do with these 2 years. Remember, Ruto is not a life president.
True.
We have elections in 2027. That is why, Baba, that is why, to me, even though I may have my own concerns, like him taking the image of our party leader and the rich legacy of Raila Odinga, Ruto is not a life president. In 2027, this country will be going to elections. And my advice to the Gen Z the last time I was here, and again now, regroup. You know, in a war, even in a real war, in a war, there's sometimes where you say, you know, we've taken a beating on this one. Let us go home and regroup. Let us go home and have a postmortem. Let us go home and see why did this and this did not actualize. So let the Gen Zs use the remaining 2 years to regroup, to take ideas, to take votes. And there's something here that Gen Zs are not taking into account. The rotten presidential election system. That is the elephant in the room that nobody wants to face. I'm repeating, the rotten presidential election system in Kenya. Let our young people who yearn for change and good governance and accountability use these 2 years. Let them, what is it called? Let them brainstorm. Let them wait and see. Because also another thing that I want the Gen Zs to be cognizant of.
Yes.
Ruto, we agreed that he has not been a good guy. We did the other time. I'm still repeating that because I'm yet to see him implement the things he read in the Law of State House by his own mouth from his own tablet. That he will do. He has renegated on all that. So what the Gen Zs even should be doing, other than even concentrating on the president, why did the rain start beating us outside the Ruto's presidency? There's a big problem here that nobody seems to see or understand. Do you know the most rotten thing in this country, if you ask me? It's our parliament.
We are coming to that.
It's our judiciary. It's our electoral system. Ruto is an individual. Perhaps with his people. But we must ask ourselves, Raila is a good guy. Baba has been a good guy. But we have voted, sometimes we vote for Baba to a T. But they don't announce Baba, they announce other people. Let Gen Zs use the remaining 2 years, Benson, to think about these things. Because even if you rush and remove Ruto now, then, you know, let's assume that God is on our side. You remove Ruto, we don't get the military dictatorship, and we get the opportunity to call another election. Do you know the way presidential electoral system, our electoral system is rotten to the core? And is under capture by the people who claim to own Kenya. Do you know just how rotten our parliament is? Look at it this way. Ruto, the reason why we are paying $1 billion wage bill, we're having the senators, the MCAs, the women rep, the MPs, is because the judiciary, I'm forgetting a very important term, the judiciary. It is because if the president goes rogue, he's implementing bills that people don't want. So like this 2024 finance bill. If he dares to implement that bill, the job of the MPs, the job of the senators, the job of the women rep is to refuse to pass that bill. What have they been doing? They're part of the problem.
Okay, let me.
You cannot concentrate on Ruto without talking about these people.
Let's come to the parliament, because it has always been said that the 13th parliament is the worst in the history of parliamentary democracy. Based to the fact that not all of them, I don't want to classify it or Kenya Kwanza.
Not our ODM legislators have been very good people. In 2023, they refused the finance bill. In 2024, they did.
Leave about even refusing the finance bill. The reason why I'm saying this, compare the parliamentary where Speaker Emeritus Marende was heading then, it was full of wisdom, and the debates
Marende was a very good speaker.
And like it was resonating even in the schools. People could go for debates, and people would want to debate like people were debating in Parliament.
And Parliament.
And if you look at our Parliament today, one, it is always a culture, or it is always a parliamentary. If there is an issue to be debated in Parliament, it is usually not very good shot for members of Parliament to walk out of Parliament. Because if you walk out on the Parliament, it will not be on the handset, And we've always seen that, even though the ODM members, sometimes they say they're not given chance to debate on some issues. That's why they walk out. But if you walk out without saying anything, it is not in the handset. The history cannot remember you. And it is always, where we usually go wrong. If you go to this developed country, when people are working on something like budget is something that the minority and the majority, they come together in the closed doors. They agree on, this is what we want you to implement, this is what I don't want you to implement. Then they agree on the give and take. So when they come to the public, or when they come to the Parliament, they come with an agreed budget, such that not hamper the running of the government. But this is what we don't see with our Parliament, because our Parliament is no or yes. It's either my way or not your way. And if that one happens, then how do we say that the parliamentary democracy is possible? Because even if you come to the finance bill of 2024, that was rejected by the people. Remember, the opposition withdrew some of the amendments that they wanted to put in. How do we call that?
That's why I'm telling you that while the Gen Zs are just concentrating on Ruto, we have other problems that requires their attention as well. And one of them is the dysfunction and the chokehold the president have on Parliament. It is not a democracy if a president can make a phone call and say, by the way, your bill lazima ipite. It's no longer democracy. It's only a democracy when it is something that leaders sit down and decide. Not like our ODM leaders decided that they didn't want the 2024 finance bill, and they voted against it. The ruling party's MPs voted yes. That is when it's a democracy. But the way things stand today, and there's something Baba has also talked about very bitterly. But I'm seeing that while we are concentrating about Ruto, and maybe a few of our guys in the government, we are forgetting. I was one of the people who used to think that it is also good for party members to be autonomous, as in to be able to make sometimes decisions for themselves. And I learned that the hard way when, after Ruto was announced, minus 21 constituencies that had happened to have been our strongholds, story for another day. He went on a rampage. He went on a shopping spree. He was shopping for MPs. He was shopping for senators, the women reps, all members of parliament, including even MCAs. And when Baba made a lot of noise then, it didn't make sense to most of us. But now that we are talking about the rot in parliament, I realized that one of the reasons why Raila Odinga was against MPs not towing the party line is what has created what we are seeing in parliament. Because look at the MPs. When elections was over, Azimio, we had more MPs than Tanga people. But Azimio coalition, we had more MPs. Today we are the minorities. Only because some of our people were bought.
But Mheshimiwa, there's one time, like, you leaders, you are messing us up. Who are leading us? You're messing up us. I think you've taken us, especially the public, to be what we call the political illiteracy, and the political illiteracy is whereby the minority make decision for the majority. And you make us feel because you are leaders, you can make decisions, and those decisions are very right. Talking about the people who went to with the government, and that one include, we can mention Honorable Tom Ojienda, the senator for Kisumu. We have this MP for Langata, aka Jalango. We have Elisha Akuba. These are people who went prior to be with the president, and when they went, they were castigated. They were called names, you know. But now, when this one happens, it is now free. And even if you listen, if you listened even to the other time I was listening to Atandi Meli, or he was saying, now we have to support this government because our people are there. At what point does it usually change? At what point do we have this change of mind, and something that was very sour in taste of mind and now is tasting? At what point do we change?
I think on this one, let me issue a disclaimer. I do not have a problem with Professor Ojienda. I don't have a problem with what is it called, Jalango. That was their personal decision.
Yes, true.
But one thing that, but there are so many people ask me this question, that why are we now not making noise that our cream de la cream have begun to garment the way we were making noise when Ojienda went. But I think there's a difference.
Yeah.
And the difference, Benson, you live in America.
True.
Lately, I'm not a very big fan. I used to be a very big fan of America. When I was growing up as a small girl in Kaloleni, I used to be, I loved the westernization of women power and what have you.
Yeah.
But going to school has opened my eyes, and I realized America is also a leech. Story for another day. But even though it is wrong, of late it has gone wrong.
Yeah.
You see that the Democratic Party,
true,
you cannot be a house representative of Democratic Party and wake up from your house and decide that you want to do ABCD, especially where decisions, when it comes to critical issues, like crossing to the other side. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Is that possible in the US? And the US is one of the most mature democracies in the world. I told you last time that our constitution was almost like a copy-paste of the US. Am I lying? Political parties are like families, like organizations. They're entities. And in any family, there is the father, the head of the home. Then there is the mother, the person nurturing people. So in ODM, Raila Odinga will forever be our father. Even after he dies, God forbid. So you cannot, especially when you are being told, don't go, wait. Especially when your party leader is telling you, please, relax. We want to see the way ABCD goes. So you see now, it is not like Mheshimiwa Wandai or Mheshimiwa Joho just woke up and decided he's going to join Ruto's government. There has been things that has happened. True. And the person that opened this door is our party leader. And when he opens this door as the party leader, as our father, the father of our family, the ODM family, he's meeting Ruto on that level, of a level of the family, the father to the Jifa. Like, it's like two families. You see? It's like two families, family ya jirani na family yangu. Now, my husband comes out, the husband of the other guy come out. Perhaps we are having a tiff, and we are neighbors. They speak as men and heads of our homes. Then when they speak and have a breakthrough, the mother can now come back and tell my kids, by the way, your dad has said, from today you can play with Kina Nani. So when Baba and Ruto talk on a personal level, it means that they are talking as heads of two different entities. Ruto will not just be talking to Baba as the president, he's also talking to Baba as the party leader of UDA. Baba is talking to him as the party leader of ODM and the leader of Azimio coalition. So there's a difference between maybe our brother Jalango going, or rather wiggling his way there to go and warm up to him. And that's why I'm saying, this finance bill, even the 2023 finance bill, it went through because we lost some of our members. Remember, I told you that immediately elections were done with, we had majority in the House. But we, for someone, before even the speaker could be elected, we had become the minority, even though we had the most legislators elected in Azimio.
Moesh.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question here, because you know there's also something that I maybe you can make our viewers to understand. When you are elected, I know you swore by the Bible you are a member of county assembly.
I swore by Quran.
Oh, Quran. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, you from there you became a state legislator. You are a state officer. You are.
Yes, not a state officer, a representative of the people.
No, you are a state. You are being paid by the government. You are a state officer. That is what
but
you are.
But state is the people, though.
Yeah, you are the government. You are the government. If you are a state officer, you represent the state of Kenya. Or state of Kisumu, our county of Kisumu.
Though legislators are not state officers. State officers are CSS. We are representative of the people.
Okay, but still,
constitutionally speaking.
Constitutionally, but remember, when you are in the house, yeah, when you are in the house, sometimes you don't have to vote based on the party line, because you vote based on what you think are affecting your people. And I can give you a typical example. The late John McCain, during the Trump era, when they wanted to scrap the Obamacare. Do you know who saved that?
I know.
Is who?
John McCain.
Why?
And he was a Democrat.
He was a Republican.
Oh.
He was a Republican, a very strong Republican. And
but Obama was a Democrat.
Obama was a Democrat. No, what happened? Let me give you the history. What happened when Trump came in? Trump wanted to do away with the Obamacare. And the Obamacare was really a good care for those who could not afford good families. Yeah, those could not afford expensive insurance.
Yes.
So it was taken to the Senate and it was brought on the floor to vote. The person who saved that was John McCain before he died. And then President Trump did not like him. And you can see the way he did like this for that. And all the Republicans in the Senate wanted that Obamacare to be scrapped. So at times it calls, look at your country. It's not look what your party says. So that's why I was constitutionally, when you swore by the Constitution and even by the Quran or by the Bible to protect the country. So which means your country supersedes your political party. That if we have that political sanity, yeah, your country will always supersede your political party. Yeah. So sometimes even if let's say, for example, when they voted the 2023, 2024, they might be having a reason why they feel, okay, in my constituency, this could have been working for me. I would not say that I'm not supporting them, but I'm just giving analogy to say that when you are in the parliament, it is about look at your country. It's not your party. First of all, we know we have the party lines, but also you have to look at a party. And that one also, if you look at Joe Mushini, is also a Democrat who voted against the Joe Biden. He was from Michigan. I'll check that, when he brought the infrastructure bill. Because it was not working for him. He ended up, and they had to persuade him, you know. Yeah. So sometimes I think we should bring that political sanity to our parliament or to our county assembly. Look at what our people are going through. We should not just say we are not voting for it or we are voting for it, but we have to look at the pro and cons of what is coming. If it is okay, you know, let us do. You know, I can tell you, when I was home, I visited one of hospital counties. I went one of the hospital counties, and I will not mention. And I went to the ICU. And I went to see, there was a friend of mine. Did you know we were forced to take off the shoes and walk barefoot on the ICU? We were not given the gowns, you know. And these are some of the things that we are calling, and we say, like, what are you giving us? And even if you look at the way the people who are ICU are treated, after they are realizing who I was, then the treatment change. So sometimes you find like the services that we need, even to the professionals, some of them who are employed in those hospitals, they're not giving our people very good services until they realize who is who in the society.
Now, I understand. And now you've even digressed, but it's okay. We were talking about, we started with the issue of Kinajalango.
Yeah.
And the reason why I was saying that sometimes it's good also to have sanity in the party and the unison in the party.
Yeah.
Can we be in agreement right now
that
the people of Kenya do not want 2023 finance bill? They didn't want it, they still don't want it.
True, I agree.
Is that true? Is that true?
True.
Number two, can we be in agreement that the people of Kenya, including myself and you, we do not want the 2024 finance bill before it was passed, before it was even taken to parliament, and even now that I hear it could find its way back to parliament? Do we agree with that? That statement is accurate?
Accurate, 100%.
Why I was complaining about legislators, why we went into parliament with majority only to become minorities was the housing levy bill. Nobody wants that. In fact, I call it criminal housing levy bill. I will forever call it that because it's a criminal bill. These people voted for that bill. Our ODM legislators, those who told the party line on the other side, did not vote for that bill. Baba said more than, I think, 3 times, even a day to the final vote, he called the legislators, both ODM legislators and Azimio legislators, and said he has done his work. He has received numerous messages, letters. People don't want that finance bill. I stand for the people. Go to parliament and don't vote for that bill. True. When they went to parliament, our ODM legislators and some Azimio legislators did not vote for that bill. That was in 2023. But our leaders that had opened the other door, they voted because the president wanted that bill. They did not vote because they want that bill or because the people who voted for them wanted that bill. They voted for that bill because that is what the president was. That is what the president wanted, and that is